Boom. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm bored. I'm very bored. Sorry. Yes, but the point is that I'm back here in my basement to bring you my video podcast that I create especially for you. Sorry, I have what I call the goofy is up right now. I miss you guys so much. I hope you guys are doing well, that you guys are safe and healthy in your house. Please remember to stay home at least for a little longer, but it's very important to keep ourselves safe. Like I say, in the meantime, you're going to spend time with me here from Suarez Basement, a video podcast created especially for you, those students in the communication, media, and the arts that want to know more and be informed. And our guest today, of course, is not the exception. She is a social dean for SCMA at SUNY Oswego, Jennifer Knapp. She takes care so well of you guys. I mean, she's always there when you need any information, and she's going to give us really good information that I think you should know, especially in this time that we're doing the transition to online education. So let's talk to Jennifer. Thank you again, guys, for being here. Love you tons, and I cannot wait to see you in person soon, face to face. So let's start our video podcast from Suarez Basement. Here we go. So how is the SCMA family doing? How is the faculty members? And if you've been on campus, how campus feeling these days where students are not there?
So I'll answer the latter part first. I don't know how things are on campus because I've not been there because I'm a good girl and I'm staying home. I've been out of my house, I think maybe 3 times in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and it's bananas. And everyone that I talk to, everyone that I'm communicating with about work is home also. So I think if people are there, they're there for a very short period of time. Maybe they grab a couple of things and then they're gone. So that's good. In terms of how the SCMA family is doing, I think pretty well. Like all things considered, I've heard great feedback from students about how their professors are communicating with them, how everyone is showing tremendous empathy for both sides, so students and instructors. Every time I talk to a student, they ask me how I'm doing too, which 6 months ago, I don't always get that question, but these days, I am getting that question. How are you doing? How is your family? And so I think everyone is holding up pretty well, but at the end of the day, I think you and I will always agree, we just miss the students. We miss being in the classroom, seeing people, we miss our colleagues, and that's just something that a Zoom conference call or video call can't replace.
That's for sure. And we trying as best as we can with these video calls and these video podcasts to be there kind of physically, but it's not the same for sure. I miss very much my interaction with the students, and I'm sure they are missing it too. And definitely are very unique circumstance that we have been putting ourselves in. So let's talk about a little bit about that shift of the online education. Is any advice that you're giving us as a faculty, but also to the students to adapt to this new way to teach and to learn, which is through these online interactions?
Sure. I think the advice I give for everybody is ask questions and don't assume that if you're having a problem that it's just a you problem. And you can't, I know it's difficult if you are an introverted person and you're not used to asking questions or maybe even approaching your instructor, but it's more important than ever if you're struggling, even if you think, you are judging yourself and think it's a small issue, I should probably be able to figure this out. Maybe instead of spending 3 hours trying to figure something out on your own, send an email, pick up the phone, call someone and see if they can help you. And that's something that I'm guilty of too. I feel like I should know this, I should be able to figure this out, and then I waste half my day when I probably could have just picked up the phone and called someone to find out what's going on. So as a communication professor, my advice is communicate with your friends, your family, and your instructors, and just ask questions. Don't feel like you can't ask questions.
Right. And that's what I told my students always is communication is a key factor in this industry that we're in. But honest communication is even more important in the sense that it's not only about communicating, but to try to be honest about, look, this is my situation, I'm struggling with this. Students sometimes have a hard time, we all have a hard time to put ourselves out there and say, I need help, this is something new for me, I never work online, or my internet service is really slow, whatever is the situation. I always tell my students, it's better that you tell me right in the beginning so we can resolve the issue, and not at the end when you actually are struggling with the class.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, especially with technology. I think a lot of students are probably self-stereotyping, like, I'm a young person, I should be able to figure this out. If I have a problem, like, I
Right.
should be able to figure it out. But you know, all bets are off, and everyone is doing their best.
I
And
have been learning a lot about technology in these days, so that
right.
for sure. So let's talk about in this case, through SCMA, but the university in general. I know certain policies have been changed in order to make this transition easier for the students. So why we don't talk about those changes that we have done in the administration in order to guarantee easier and more smooth path?
Yes. So the two primary academic policies that have been temporarily changed are the withdrawal deadline and the documented versus undocumented withdrawal, and then the option to opt into a pass-fail situation in a course. And I'll start with the withdrawal, that's easier to explain. So I think maybe this Friday was supposed to be the last day that students could withdraw from a course, but that deadline has been extended all the way until May 8th. And it's, you know, there used to be a paper form that you would print and your instructor would fill it out and you would sign it. And there was, you know, you had to go through 8 different steps in order to make that happen. Now there's a very simple form that you fill out. It's on the registrars, right on their homepage now, actually. And you just put in your name, probably your ID number, the course and the section number, and that's it. And then it gets sent to the registrar's office, who then, if you're an SCMA major, it gets sent to me and I approve it, and then it gets processed. So that is all the way up until 4 p.m. on May 8th, and no documentation required. As for pass-fail, that's normally something, it's an option that used to only be open to juniors and seniors, and you used to, you could only do 1 course pass-fail per semester. And you would have to decide the first week of classes. Now you have until May 27th to decide whether or not you want to take a course pass-fail. And what that means is you will have all of your final grades, and then you can decide once you see your final grades whether or not choosing pass-fail is the right option for you. So instructors don't know and that you are taking the course pass-fail. They grade you normally. So if you were getting a D, then you're going to get assigned a D. And then eventually, if you opt for pass-fail, that D would get converted to a P, a pass, and you would get the credit hours for the course, and you would get the requirement marked as complete if it's a gen ed course or an all college elective. Majors, I'll talk about that in a second. And but it would not impact your GPA. So that would be one of the benefits of opting into pass-fail, is that if you weren't doing so hot in the class, then you can spare your GPA the hit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very, very good. So the other question that I have for you, beside the administration aspect of these policies that were being changed, is any other recommendation that you would give to our students? And before we go there, I do want to ask you, as a person that worked in this for so many years, do you think high education, and I know you don't have a crystal ball to see the future, but do you think higher education is changing right now, and it would change the way we do higher education in the future?
I'm maybe give an answer that you're not expecting. I think, yes, it's possible that things are going to change, but I think what has had the biggest impact on me is that, to a person, everyone says, I miss being in the classroom. And you would think that generationally students would be fine working remotely or taking online courses and that they'd be super comfortable with it. But everyone I talk to misses that face-to-face component of being in the class. And even if they're not the type of student that participates a lot or, you know, has a great relationship with their instructor, they miss that piece of it. And so in a way, I think it's very validating that that face-to-face component of higher education and on a campus like ours, which we still pride ourselves on being a residential campus, that's not going to go away. I think if anything, it's going to make people realize how important it is to be at a brick and mortar university, not just taking courses online, because people really do need that human connection in a way that maybe we were taking for granted for a long time.
Okay, well, and any other final thoughts or any message to our students that are watching us through these video podcasts that you want to close and be sure that, you know, they can hear you?
Sure. So in terms of your uncertainty, I know that you're experiencing uncertainty and anxiety, and we are too. We are as faculty and as administrators, and I think I mentioned before, everyone is doing our best. And it doesn't mean that there's a right way or a wrong way to be going in about any of this. And so if you are struggling or you need help, you can reach out to your advisors. And if they don't know how to get, or they don't know what resources to help you that might be able to help you, then they can contact me. They can contact other people to make sure that you are doing okay. All of us miss you tremendously. You know, this stinks for all of us. We definitely miss that face-to-face interaction, but we know you're out there. We hear you. We see you. You know, I think this idea of the pass-fail policy is our way of saying we understand that this is not ideal and that things are very difficult. And you know, when it comes time for you to make those decisions about whether or not pass-fail is the right option for you, because there are some, you know, there's some fine print with how that policy is going to work, please reach out to your advisor. Don't make any decisions without consulting with someone unless you're absolutely sure you know what the right course of action is. And if your advisor is unavailable, you can always reach out to me. I don't care what your major is, I will help you.
Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate your time with us, and keep strong, keep safe, keep doing your workout, and say hi to the family, and we will see you soon, okay?
Great. Thanks, Francisco. I appreciate you reaching out. Have a nice night.
You too.